Hey there, everyone. I'm David, and I'm your host. I have a couple of guest hosts. Our first one up is wearing the same color shirt I am.
Hey, my name is Brian Sanchez, and somehow we always match even though we never talk about this ahead of time.
Never
We're
do.
also introduced here with another guest speaker.
Allie Dumas, that's me. I'm also wearing gray today, but it's like a lighter version, so I guess I'm not really matching. But it works.
Well, I guess that makes us all great.
I love
God,
that.
why do they do puns here, guys?
I love it.
I love puns.
So today our topic is we're all fans of My Hero Academia,
Love it.
and I thought it'd be a great idea to choose our top 5 favorite characters from Class 1A. So, Brian, Allie, do you all have your lists?
I have my top 5. Are you ready, Allie?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to start this off with ladies first. Who's your number 5?
Tenya, because he's just like. At first, he was my favorite character, just because like I'm one of those people who love like boys in glasses, anime boys. So like him, but then like I don't know, he's okay now. He's okay, but I still love him. What about yours, Brian?
No, they've.
Wait, what did we say?
What made you go from number 1 to number 5 for Tenya? Was it the hero killer arc?
Yeah, he just got kind of boring. No, actually, it was because his brother.
What was his brother's name?
I know his hero name.
Ingenium?
Ingenium.
Anyways.
I can't think of his actual name.
Like, I get it.
Tenyo.
Like, he, like, took his brother's name on. But I think it's kind of boring. Because I like when they choose their own names, but I get it.
Yeah, but the name he chose for his hero name at first was Tenya.
Just his name.
That's cool.
No.
But the whole time in that episode, I think he was sitting in class, and he was like, should I pick up the name that my brother had? Should I just use my brother's name? And he was like fighting with himself the whole time. And then he's like, I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be Tenya.
But then he took his brother's name.
Yeah, because I feel like he wanted people to see that it was still his brother. But even if it wasn't him, then the idea and the image of his brother would still be strong, even if it wasn't his brother.
And I think the reason he also took his brother's name up was because his brother wasn't never able to be a hero again.
Right.
So live on that legacy of Ingenium, which we see later on in the series of the Hero Killer arc.
Yeah, because Ingenium is so ingrained in that area of, I think it was a Hoshido or somewhere wherever he was, because I'm really bad at getting actual locations, names, right? That's in Japan as well as in the anime, but wherever he was, they showed that he helped a lot of people and people knew his name. And that's why Tenya is also my number 5 character. He has strong family traditions. He has strong family ties, especially with his brother, and I relate to that because my brother is older than me, and I look up to him. And I also wear glasses, so I think he's a cool guy. Also, he has a lot of growth, but he started going crazy with the whole, like, revenge! So that kind of turned me off a little bit because he just felt insane, like, really out of nowhere. But I get it. His brother got hurt, like, bad, and then he took it personally, so he needed vengeance.
But they also bring it up in the Hero Killer arc when he goes up against Hero Killer. He went in there blinded by revenge, and instead of helping the person in danger that's almost being killed, he almost gets killed himself and does nothing until Todoroki and Deku comes into play.
Well, it wasn't like he wasn't doing anything.
And then gets a very touching speech by Todoroki, and he's like, get up and be a hero. And then he finally realizes, all right, let me get up and help my friends out before they shed more blood.
Okay, let's just be clear. He wasn't just hanging out. He wasn't just sitting around not doing anything. He was immobilized by blood.
Yeah, but his quirk is Engine, which is able to make him run fast. He could have ran in there, got the hero that's in danger out, and then go after him.
But the whole reason why he went there in the first place was to find the hero killer.
Yeah, but
find Stain.
If he's trying to be a hero, get the person in danger out first.
Yeah, and that's just it. He wasn't going there to be a hero.
As you audience know, or can tell, I'm not a big fan of Tenya. But he could have at least got the pro hero native out before endangering himself.
Yeah, that was if he was thinking like a hero, and he obviously wasn't.
And that is my problem with Tenyo.
Okay, so
So
who's your
my
five?
number 5 is actually Momo Yayo Rozu.
Creation girl.
Yes,
Okay.
her quirk is the
That
creation.
was her.
And the reason why she's number 5 on my list is because her ability, the way she uses her ability, is fantastic, especially in the final exam arc when she's teamed up with Todoroki.
Yeah.
And she creates the little like dolls with
grenades
with
in
flash grenades.
Yeah, flash grenades.
To blind their
Yeah.
opponent who has a quirk who has to see them.
Mhm.
So I thought that was very brilliant.
Well, his weakness of his quirk is that if he stops to blink,
Then
Or
they
he needs to
cancel,
blink.
but if he also gets blinded
Yeah.
by a flash grenade.
Mhm.
Thought that was kind of cool. Excuse me.
blink.
And when she was in the rescue simulation arc, where
Is that with 13?
yeah.
They were in the USJ.
when they were fighting, yeah, I couldn't think of the location, and when they were fighting the villains,
Yeah.
she came up with a good idea to protect her and her teammates
The blanket.
with the
Oh,
blanket, so
Yeah.
the electric guy can discharge a strong amount and
He
they
could
don't
shock
get injured.
himself stupid.
Literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that was my reasoning for her being my number 5 pick. And just the way she uses the clever way she uses her abilities in like everyday her everyday life, it was kind of my favorite. So
Like if you had the creation ability, the whole thing about her is that she has to understand the molecular makeup
Yeah.
of something that she's going to create.
and apparently for her to create things, she has to have an open mouth skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why it took her so long to make the blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But here's something I don't understand. In the final exam episode with her, she makes a bunch of bandages.
yes.
Why does she have to expose her boobs to do that? She could have easily made the bandages out of her forearms. Why did she have to?
Does she
like,
have to pick the part of where it comes, or does that just like happen?
we've seen her
like
make
if-
stuff out of her abdomen,
Okay.
out of her back, out of her
I feel like there was a
arms.
reasoning for like what she did.
Yeah.
But I'm not as I've only seen the episode once,
Okay.
so like I'll have to go back and rewatch it to see if it picks up because it's also subtitled, so I could miss some stuff.
Yeah. You blink, a translation goes away.
Yeah. So
She's just standing there, just like bandages coming out of her chest. I'm like, you
Maybe-
got an abdomen, and it's coming out like noodles coming out of a little grind machine. I just thought it was weird.
but even the final exam art, like the way she like at first her growth from being very like, hesitant of her ability because she was always comparing herself to Todoroki.
Yeah.
And then like Todoroki like is like one of the only people, the other 2 people who chose you. I was one of them. Made her realize I'm actually a lot smarter and my ability is more capable. That I was just putting a block on myself.
I think she was always smart. She's number 1 in the,
In the class, yeah.
in the class.
Well, yeah, but she
But
was
it's her confidence that got shot.
yeah, and her
Yeah.
confidence. And then when Todoroki gave that speech,
Mhm.
it brought her confidence back, and she was able to come up with a masterful plan to take down the teacher.
Well, she already had her plan. She just wasn't sure if she should put it into action. That's why she didn't tell Todoroki, even though she was already preparing for it
No, she
in
had
the beginning.
she had a plan,
Yeah.
but that plan was shot, and then she came up with a new plan to capture the teacher.
Oh yeah, that's true. When they put the blanket over the 2 things.
And then they had one person run out, and then Todoroki uses his ability. So that's my number 5 chosen. Ali, who's number 4 for you?
I put Uravity. How do you pronounce her name?
Uraka?
Yuraka
Okay.
Ochoko is how I pronounce her name. I am very sorry for any Japanese who I mispronounced.
I
that.
think it's
Yeah.
Uraka. I think it's easier
That's
to
her.
say that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
her last name.
She's cool.
Yo!
I don't know, like
She is pretty sweet though.
Her,
Like her powers.
yeah,
Her-
she can lift things.
she can
She's
lift
also
things.
genuinely sweet.
I didn't realize where her weakness was really.
What is you?
Her weakness is she can only lift so much,
Okay.
and when she lifts over that amount, she starts getting headaches.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, which I
Oh.
don't think they've really touched on yet.
You kind of see it, like a little bit of it, in the first entrance exam when she's like touching all the robots and such, And then the reason why she was out of it when Midoriya has to save her is because she was literally out of it. She touched so many robots that she was having a hard time just like thinking. And that's why it took her so much like strength to just tap Midoriya before he fell after he hit that first giant robot.
I didn't think about that because I know you also see it when she's fighting Bakudo in that battle.
Yeah.
In the sports festival.
Yeah, in the sports festival.
Yeah.
Because like you see her like after like she like holds her head a little bit, and then Bakudo just holds no bars left and just so. Any like reason for your Aravi?
Wait, what?
Any other reason why Aravi just like the costume?
Yeah, she like her in general, like her personality.
Her
like-
personality is very bubbly.
Yeah,
It is. She's genuinely like positive
yeah.
most of the time.
I do like how she gave Deku or Midoriya the reasoning for choosing his name.
Yeah.
With like it's an I can do it kind of like name, so I thought that was kind of cool.
You know what that means in Japanese?
Deku.
Yeah.
Um.
I think it's supposed to be negative,
Probably.
like weak or nothing or something like that. Like it's not
Yeah,
supposed to be very
it's.
nice.
I know in the dub version of the show, Deku comes from defenseless Izuku, and they take the DU from defenseless and the KU from Izuku. But
So if we took defenseless Brian, it'd be DEAN. It'd be Dean. What would it be if we did that to your name, Allie? DE.
It'd be Deli. And mine would be Deed.
It's just David.
That's interesting. But I know in the Japanese subbed version, Bakudo gives him the name Deku because it's like it is an insult to him because Deku doesn't have a quirk. Bakudo has this very much I'm better than everyone attitude towards everyone.
I find that interesting because in the flashbacks, we clearly see that there is Bakugo, Midoriya, and then other kids. But the other kids look just as quirkless as Midoriya. Like, in all the flashbacks, all the other kids don't show powers. It's just Bakugo
Maybe they don't.
and Midoriya.
Maybe they don't show their powers because Bakudo is Bakudo makes it he's better and he has a cooler quirk. Maybe their
it's
quirk
really flashy.
maybe their quirk isn't flashy or anything.
Yeah, their quirks could be like,
Or
oh
they-
yeah, I can make regular paper into college sheet lined paper
Or maybe they
with my arms.
maybe they haven't got their quirk yet.
Yeah, but then
Okay.
isn't that exactly what they were saying to Midoriya, that he hasn't gotten his quirk yet?
No, but the doctor. I think that was after they find out he won't be getting a quirk.
Yeah, but if I was Midoriya, why would you admit that to Bakugo, who's
Because
clearly...
he looked up to Bakudo.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He was like always very positive. Even when Bakudo falls in the river, he's like, "Hey, let me help you up." And Bakudo's like, "I hate you. This is an insult to me."
It's because he's very prideful.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
So, Brian, we have your Gravity for Allie's number 4. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Froppy. Sue...
Allie was so offended by that.
What's her name? Sue?
Suiyasu?
Uh,
Asu?
Not Froppy. Like,
It's Sue something.
it's
like TSU.
Sue,
Why
yeah. Sue,
Su
Suyu?
Asui.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I understand that for some people that's their number 1. I'm just saying she's my number 4 because I'm my criteria for my list was essentially like their potential versus their growth, and I feel like Froppy has tons of potential. She has a very good grip on her abilities.
Finally did it.
Yes. Yeah. And she has so many abilities. She's really good underwater. She has a prehensile tongue that is essentially like another hand. That's really like,
That has saved so many people in that show.
yeah. And she's used it for not just saving people, but also like navigating around. It helps with her mobility. She's also pretty good mobility-wise because she can stick to walls. And also,
And her quirk
she's-
is frog, right? It's just
yeah,
It's
just
it's
like
frog.
whatever a frog can do, essentially she can do it too.
because I do
Yeah.
know like it tells you the quirk and everything, but like some of them like tell you some because like the leopard or the sea lion guy that she
Selkie, Captain Selkie.
that she interns with, his quirk is sea lion.
Yeah, whatever a sea lion can do, he can do it too.
So like just wanted to make sure hers was frog,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
some other thing.
The idea, I saw some background with her that her family is also like frogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like her dad,
I
mom,
think
her bro, like they all have like the same
I think
type of quirk.
one of her siblings doesn't have the frog quirk.
Oh.
If I remember
He's
reading
Toad.
correctly.
He's just really warty.
But yeah, I do
You're
like
always gonna have that.
I do like how they kept it a family thing. Cause I know frogs are very like they produce a lot.
But they also, well, similar to my number one, they also show that quirks have a lot of influence with family. So if the mom and the dad are frog, it's very likely that the offspring will also have that type of quirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But I have her in my list because she has a ton of potential, like a ton of potential. But because she has so much potential, and she has like such a strong grip on her powers already, then I see her just more or less like helping the others grow.
Yeah.
And
Which we see.
like she doesn't have a lot of faults, which means she doesn't have like a lot of like space to like overcome adversity because we don't see a lot of her faults yet.
Which
Because they even mention that in her final that she doesn't have
like a
The
strong
final
like
exam
a
with
visible
Tokiyami?
weakness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well she has known weakness right now.
Which is why I'm saying that we don't see like how she has like faults to herself, which means that I see her helping others
But I feel
as
like
opposed to someone who has to overcome something in their own character.
I think one weakness we can point out with Froppy
Mhm.
is if she doesn't have a clear head. If like a villain is able to get inside her head,
When did that happen?
it hasn't happened yet. But like, they mentioned how clear her head is.
Yeah.
And that's But I think if someone can get inside her head and like trick her or kind of like throw her off her game,
Yeah, but that should be for everybody.
yes.
Yeah.
But that's also a weakness that everyone can share.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying like it's a
yeah.
known, it's like a big weakness for her. It's just a weakness that can be thrown
She's
into
also a frog. She's not bulletproof, so her weakness is getting shot by bullets. Like that could also be a weakness, but that hasn't happened yet. You know, she's not immune to knives, so she could get stabbed. That could also be a weakness. So like foreseeable weaknesses that everyone shares.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because they mentioned how clear her head is, which is one of the reasons why no one can point a weakness for her.
Pinpoint close enough.
That's what I said.
It's okay, we have it recorded. Anyway,
But-
so with Froppy in the USJ, when all the villains came,
Yes.
she had a pretty clear head, and she helped Midoriya with all this stuff.
And
Along
grape
with
juice.
Grape juice. Mineta, I think his name is.
Mineta, yeah.
Yeah.
She also did stronger there because it was in the water.
True.
True.
Yeah. And then she also did well in the final. And then
Was she in the Swords Festival?
was she?
I don't think so.
No, she was hanging out with Mineta
The cheerleaders.
and the dude with the 6 arms.
Okay.
Because she was like using her tongue while Mineta was like throwing stuff, while the 6 arm dude was like holding up like a tent. But then they got
Okay, yeah, she was
not disqualified.
She
but
was
they
in the
didn't
caliber,
rank.
but she didn't make it to the
Right.
one-on-one battle. Okay.
Right. So who's your number 4?
My number 4 is actually the Ochaku Yuraka Uravity girl. And the reason, and she's on my, mainly for 2 reasons. Her quirk, Zero Gravity, which I just find really cool, being able to make things float and with, being able to make them drop. And her determination to help her family out.
I love her
Oh,
determination
okay, yeah.
face. Like when she gets determined, everyone's just like, "Yuraka, what's wrong with your face?" And she's like, "I'm just so ready to go."
And that's why she wants to become a pro hero, just to help her family out.
Yeah.
So mainly that's the reason she's my number 4 because I love the determination for her and the fact that no matter how tough it gets or how dire the situation is, she will fight to the last bit of energy. Yeah,
that was like her whole thing when she was fighting against
Bakugo.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed, which was a scene that made me tear up a little bit, which a lot of scenes in the show does. So, all right, we're in the top.
So that's number 4, right?
We're in the top 3 now. Allie, number 3.
For my third one, I put Deku, the main character. I don't know, just because. Did you do that?
So did I!
Did we all put him?
Number 3, all around,
we just had
Midoriya.
Oh, definitely number 3 is Deku.
Okay, let's talk about why he's on number 3. Good old middle boy. He's not best boy.
Not best boy.
Yet.
True. Okay, Allie, let's start with you.
I don't know. I like how he, is so determined to want to become a hero and want to do good things like All Might. And look up to him.
Even though Tenya is supposed to be like the book guy, Deku is so much more
Yeah.
like
Okay, yeah,
not
he's really smart too.
book smart,
Well,
street smart.
He is
he's-
also book
he's
smart.
he's number 4 in his class by grades.
Yeah, he's not number 1 though. Different.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
still shows he has book smart.
Yeah, but it's because like he's so used to studying
Heroes.
like heroes, and he just applies that to like everything he does.
He's very analytical.
Yeah, and then he does that like muttering thing,
Where
all
he's
the
like,
time,
where
he's
he's
like,
talking to himself, trying to figure stuff out.
and then like the words appear over the entire screen, and people looking at him like, why is he doing this? Even though you think they would have gotten used to him doing that, because he does it almost
Yeah.
like every week from what it appears on the show. But yeah, the fact that he can apply what he learns quickly.
Yes.
He can see patterns in other heroes and use that against them quickly. And that's
While
what I
in
like.
battle.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool because he did that with Bakudo when he was in that team battle in the first arc, and Bakudo went to a sweet on him. He knew how he fought.
That's because he was saying ever since we were kids, you've always started with a right hook.
Was it since kids?
Yes.
Okay, I guess
There's even a
that's right.
flashback. But when he was going up against All Might's teacher,
Gran Torino.
yeah, Gran Torino, he knew he would after just fighting him at least once. He was
Yeah.
like, I need more time. So then he went underneath the couch, and then he went full cowl, and he knew to do that because of what happened in the first fight, which
Yeah.
was only so much time, and that's just that. I think that was really cool because he was able to learn and apply things very quickly.
He's also done that in the Hero Killer battle
Yeah,
where
he
he
was fighting Stain.
he gets he comes in and first gets paralyzed by him, and that's when he quickly picks up what his Hero Killer quirk was,
And how it works.
well he had 3 different options of how it worked. He wasn't sure which one it was, which is one thing I disliked about the dubbed, because it kind of when Hero Kill came up and it gives you that little quirk and everything, there's a voiceover showing or telling you what his quirk is, how it works, which blood type is affected most, and which is
and which
least.
one's not? Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like that.
In the sub, I think it shows it. I think it does.
If I did, I blinked and missed it.
Well, what I mean is, it's not voiceover. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Yeah,
and
it's just
because it
this
shows
is
it.
the flash frame, and then it's just words on the
'Cause,
screen.
When I first learned it, it was through Deku's speaking of it,
Right.
and that was the reason Deku's number 3 is because from the training with Gran Torino to the Hero Killer battle, you see him learn more about One for All and how to use it to his abilities, and he doesn't go he goes full cow, which I didn't know was the name of that.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Right?
Well, yeah, but I didn't know until yesterday
Oh, okay.
that it's a name for it. And just the fact he only uses 5% of his ability,
Yeah.
so he doesn't damage himself, was shown a full-on growth from episode 3 when he gets One for All to episode 36.
Well, it's also not so much of timing; it was so much of understanding. Because All Might was saying like, don't crack the egg in the microwave. It's a really boring way to think of it, but if that's how you want to think of it, then fine. So he was always thinking of it as either being like on or off, and that's why he was putting it on or off in his fingers and his arms and whatever he did. But then he was putting it at 0 or 100%.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
when he was imagining it like that little fish waffle in the microwave.
Teriyaki.
Yeah. And how it goes throughout everything. You see him when he first tries it, it goes all over him, and then he powers down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, he's going from like 100% down to 5%.
Yeah.
So it's like 0 to 105 real quick.
And then one other thing I want to mention about Meteoria is his battle with Todoroki.
When?
In the one-on-one sports festival,
Ah.
when Deku was not trying to win.
Yeah.
Deku was trying to make sure Todoroki went full force. And he gave him that
Yeah.
speech. It's like, it's not your father's quirk, it's your quirk.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, Todoroki went full on
Wee woo, my heart.
hot cold, hot cold, or half hot, half cold
Yeah.
quirk, and went full on. And Meteoria was still able to withstand himself by using the flick of his fingers, Daydream's fingers, to where they're black.
I love how he even used it with broken fingers.
Yeah.
Like his fingers were already broke.
He even-
and then he did it again.
He even
and then
like
he pushed
thumbed
it out
his
of
mouth and
yeah.
just went boom.
Like,
And
how is his cheek not busted? I don't know.
and he was and he was still able to break through the walls of ice
Yeah.
Todoroki formed.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely Meteoria is number 3 for me, and his quirk, his one for all quirk,
Mhm.
he's the 9th user.
Okay.
In it, and the fact that All Might, who is the 8th user,
Yeah.
was not able to train him properly to using one for all, and had to go to someone who's not a one for all user
Well,
to train him.
is that the case? Because I thought that the teacher, Gran Torino, must have seen him during the sports festival, and he's like, ugh, All Might's not teaching him correctly. I better do it.
No,
So then
All Might asked Gran Torino to do it. And
there's a whole scene where he's like crying behind Midoriya. He's like, I can't believe my teacher doesn't believe in me. I've been teaching you wrong this whole time.
yeah, but because at first, I mean, I guess it could be two ways. It's
Yeah.
never really spoken, but I always assumed All Might asked Gran Torino to come in and help train.
That is definitely what did not happen. Because he's sitting at the desk, right? And like erasers with him, and then
Yeah, but
the President Mike is there. And then he's looking through the things to see like what people have gotten, and then Midoriya has one. And then the one thing that he has, and then he's shocked. He's like, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess-
at the
I guess I missed
computers,
that
and he's
scene.
like, "Oh my gosh, no!" And then there's like blood coming out of his mouth because that's what he's like when he's skinny. Apparently,
well, it's because he's damaged.
yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that scene of him on the computer.
But then there's another scene where he quickly goes in his buffed up form. He goes to the classroom, and it's just Midoriya and Uraka, and they're having kind of like a tender moment. But then he comes out of nowhere and almost like, Midoriya, come with me, please. And he's like bowing to him in the doorway.
Yeah,
And then he's like, oh, okay. And then they go to the staircase, and then there's all like the doom and gloom over his eyes, and he's like, I can't believe it, but you actually have someone who wants you as an intern. And Midoriya's like, huh?
I didn't even watch the end of that season.
Mhm.
I apologize.
So All Might definitely was not teaching him well, and then All Might's teacher, Gran Torino, was like, I'll do it myself. And
Because
then All Might's like, I'm not a good teacher. And
'Cause-
like he was sad about it.
I do know Gran Torino was friends with the 7th One for All user.
Yeah.
So, and fun little fact about Deku, the kanji of 9 is in his name. And along with All Might has the kanji 8,
That's cool.
and the 7th user is named Nana, which is Japanese for 7.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little fun fact of the One for All users.
Good thing we don't speak Japanese.
All
I
right.
believe you, I guess.
That was all of our number 3s.
Yeah, which did not expect.
Mhm.
Number 2, Brian,
Okay, my number 2 is actually Bakugo.
of course.
Now, the reason why he's my number 2 is because obviously he's got a lot of pride, he's got a lot of rage, he's got a lot of anger issues. He is definitely the meanest of the boys, but I feel like there's a turn coming, and I just want to see the turn, because even though it's so apparent that his pride is making him being mad at Midoriya, and his desire to be like undeniably the best, not just the best, but undeniably the best, to the point where he's doing things that are completely outrageous. He's getting first place, but he's like a wild animal. He's like muzzled. I thought that was so cool. He's also not getting antagonistic stuff returned to him. Midoriya isn't being mean to him directly. When they're passing by, Midoriya's still like, "Oh, hi," and then he scowls and he's like mean. But that's because he's always been that way. But I feel like a turn is coming, and I don't feel like he will always be the meanest of the boys. I feel like there's gonna be a moment where my heart's gonna break because he's gonna be not mean, and I'm just waiting for that.
Are we allowed to talk about ships?
Sure.
You don't seem excited. I kind of like Loki, just a little. Ship him with Gravity, because I feel like he could bring out the softer side of him. Yeah, okay, whatever. But I've seen like fan art, and it's cute. It's probably like
I'm not even gonna tell you how much shipping fan art I've seen
a
of
lot.
Bakugo and Deku.
There's a lot. They could be a threesome,
Whoa!
Welcome to the Late Night Podcast. If you're returning, things got weird, y'all.
I do want to point out 2 things with Bakudo. One, he has the best name chosen.
He tried to put on 2. He tried to do 2, and then the whippy lady with the sleepy gas.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Midnight.
She said no both times.
Yeah, because it was like, it was like explosion killer.
Murder.
King explosion murder or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you see that, you're like, is this allowed in a hero school? Like,
Yeah.
but
Out of all the boys, he's definitely the Slytherin.
but also the fact that I have seen a couple of videos talking about how he is changing after his internship with Genist,
Mm-hmm.
his little internship he had, and
He
how
learned to comb his hair.
and how the video was saying how like that could be the turning point of his change, where he might start being a little more. I think we will get more understanding of Bakudo in episode 37.
I also like during his internship with Genus, there were some kids, and the kids were like, "It's him." he's still being like mean and like loud, but the words he's saying is also kind of mean to the kids. But he's like trying.
He's trying to be like sincere.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that, and I also think Bakudo, like in episode 37, which is titled Bakudo Origin or Kachan Bakudo Origin. So I think we're going to learn more about him in episode 37.
Right.
And maybe get why he's so resilient to be friends or even acknowledge Deku as a human being.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think
We see a lot of flashbacks of them, but I want to see more.
And I think the only time we've seen Midoriya be anywhat aggressive towards Bakudo was in the team battle when he's like, "I'm using Deku to like show I can be a hero."
Yeah.
And Bakudo was just like pissed about that.
He's pissed about a lot of things.
So yeah, I will allow Bakudo to be a contender for top 10.
I think
But
he has what it takes to be a hero. He just has a lot to learn. He has a lot of...
that's an understatement, Brian.
Yeah.
That man
So
has
he
a galaxy to learn.
Okay, because here's my thing. Not all heroes should be nice.
No.
That's my thing.
I'll agree with that.
He's my number 2. My number 2 boy.
All right, Allie, who's your number 2?
Todoroki.
Nice.
Best boy. I love him so much.
Wait, is this your 2 or 1?
This is my 2.
Okay.
And like his whole backstory thing with his dad and his mom, and how he just wants to use the cold side to show his dad he can do it without him, but then he like learns to like use it and stuff.
It's like the biggest cold shoulder I've seen to a parent in any show that I've watched.
The puns are coming in hot. Also,
but he's such a sweet boy
I
because he's
know.
half and half.
I'm gonna jump in on this a little bit because Todoroki is also my number 2 choice,
Okay.
and mainly because his backstory
Yes,
Yeah.
is tragic.
Yeah.
Because he has the hot, half cold from his mom and father.
Mhm.
He resents his right side, I believe, is his hot side.
No,
Left. His
Because
left side.
just always remember Zuko. Always burn your boys on the left side.
And he got that was the one to bring up his burn mark.
Yeah.
Which his mother gave him after finding out about the other half of him. And it's pretty much being like part of his father who is not a good person.
I thought there were undertones that the dad was beating the mom.
Yeah,
But
you guys catch that?
yes,
Yeah.
it's shown.
yeah.
It's shown because he hits
Yeah.
Todoroki in the stomach,
Yeah.
and then immediately hits his mother.
Okay, I just want to make sure I remember that correctly.
So I understand his resentment to use the like hot side of his body.
Yeah.
But I also like how his weakness is if he uses too much of his cold side, it will
He freezes.
it freezes his body. But if he uses too much of his hot side, he dehydrates.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Is that a thing? Oh,
Alright.
So
I
because
don't read the manga.
I don't either. I was reading up on some stuff.
Okay.
And
Some
because both sides have to. What was that?
What? Nothing.
He dehydrates.
Both sides are there to stabilize his body from each side.
Right. And that's why he should use each side.
Yeah,
To keep that balance.
which again I have to bring up Hero Killer battle because Todoroki he finally he's like, all right, I can go internal. He goes to see his mother, gets the closure he needs
Yeah,
to
before
go
the intern.
to go so he can go internship with his father because his father is the number 2 hero.
Yeah.
And then when his father and him are off to go fight or go do some hero business,
Patrolling.
Todoroki gets the notification from Meteoria, and it was like, all right, Pops, gotta go, have fun, and leaves to go help
I
Meteoria.
never liked you anyway. Bye, Pops.
And the thing I liked about most was like throughout the show up until then, you really see Todoroki's like, hey, Meteoria, we're cool, but you are my rival.
Yeah.
And you don't really see like a friendship bud at all.
It's more just like,
It's friendly
look,
rivalry.
I don't want you dead. But if you're getting in my way, you're dead.
So, and then Todoroki, when he gets to the battle finally, he's like, hey, next time try to throw a little more details here. Distress signal.
Oh yeah, because he gave just
The
the
location.
location.
And he's like, but if you send a cryptic location, I know you're in trouble. Yeah. And then just the battle with Tenya, Meteoria, and Todoroki against Hero Killer, you get a lot of positive speeches from Todoroki about being a hero.
Yeah.
And that's what put him at number 2 for me. Plus his quirk is awesome.
His quirk is hella powerful. And that's why he's my number 1. But
Nice.
because he can freeze. When I saw the sports festival, and he freezes like
The entire tunnel.
the entire it even goes over the top of the stadium. And I'm just like, this kid got power like nobody's business. Does he have like a freaking fox demon inside of him? This is some Naruto power levels of bullshit. But there is what do you call it? When he understands that he can use his like left side,
Mhm.
that's such a big moment, not for like the dad, but for him.
Yeah.
When he's just like, this powers that I have were given to me. It doesn't belong to my dad. It's not his power. It's my power. And like what you were touching on
With
when
Meteoria.
he was fighting, and then he understands like himself,
Yeah.
which is the whole point of him pushing himself to go back to his mom and to like to talk things out and to see things through before interning with the dad. And I feel like he still has resentment for his dad on some things, because you can't just flip a new leaf like that
The only
real
thing
quick. This is an Animal Crossing.
The only thing he has a resentment to his father is like the only thing he doesn't have resentment is the fact he's number 2,
right?
And he wants to be a strong hero.
He's okay. The dad's number 2. Inferno, I think is his name.
Yes, I think. I'm pretty sure.
His power is Hell Flame. That's all I know.
Yeah, his power is Hell Flame.
And he's a hero. Okay, so the dad pretty much has, like, they show it in the show so often that, like, you will surpass me and All Might. You're supposed to be stronger than All Might.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need to. I just want to be me. Stop making me, Dad. You don't understand me. You don't even know my music, Dad. Don't understand. He's such an edgelord, though. Like, I thought Bakugo was an edgelord. No. Todoroki.
Endeavor.
Oh.
Endeavor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's better than Inferno.
I was so like, yeah.
Like, what's his name? Hellspin? Okay, so, Allie, who's your number 1? Who is best in class?
Froppy.
Oh, yes.
Like, everyone's number 1. She's just the best girl. Like, how can you hate her?
It's not that I hate her.
No, but like, how can anyone hate her?
That's true. That's fair.
I'm not pointing fingers.
I will point this out now.
She's friends with like a lot of the people in class.
I think she's friends with everyone.
Yeah.
I just like I didn't
Except maybe Bakugo.
I didn't hate Froppy, but I didn't love Froppy. But the episode where she interns with the sea lion guy,
that was cool,
is what made me like, Froppy, you go, girl. And I think she probably bumped up to like almost top 5 for
Almost.
me. No.
Not breaking that.
I mean, that's fine.
Top 5.
But you know, her internship episode really made me enjoy and like Froppy more than I did before.
I also like that her whole thing about the episode was like, follow the orders of your hero.
Yes.
So like, if you feel like that your hero that you're being the sidekick for believes in something, you should believe in him.
Yeah.
Which is why it brings me back to what I was saying earlier, that I think she's going to help other people grow.
Oh, she's definitely going to help everyone else in that class grow.
Yeah.
At some point, she's going to help everyone grow. And I do like how she was able to go up against a villain by herself and hold them until the sea lion came.
Captain Selkie.
Thank you. I can never remember that guy's name.
It's because Selkie is a type of seal.
And then even when Captain Selkie comes, she still has to help. She still helps in battle.
Yeah.
By using her tongue and like her maneuverability and everything. So I will give Froppy that.
Yeah.
I ship her with Tokoyami.
Ooh.
Ooh,
bunch of animal love up in there.
They work so well together. Like,
they do. I like that. I like the
fan
final
art.
exam episode.
She can hold stuff.
It's a
in her
great
stomach.
segue due to the fact Fumikage Tokoyami is my number 1 choice for My Hero Academia Class 1A. And the reason why he's my favorite, because we don't get much of him, is because his quirk is awesome. I love Dark Shadow. And
I also like the times where Dark Shadow is exposed to a lot of light, and Dark Shadow's like, like you can see, like Dark Shadow's like blushing because he doesn't like the light. Like, oh,
That's
I'd rather
his
be in
weakness, though, like-
darkness.
and which I do like, because like with the battle against Bakudo and the one-on-ones,
Yeah.
you really see like the light is a problem for
That was during the cavalry, right?
no one-on-ones.
Yeah, that's true.
It was
Yeah,
one-on-ones.
that happened,
And like the explosions and everything was really bothering Dark Shadow, and Tokoyami was like, "I'm not winning this," and just forfeits,
Mhm.
which makes Bakudo angry.
Mhm.
So I was like, he knows when he's not gonna win. He knows when to back down. He's
Yeah.
very, and I know we haven't got much of Tokoyami yet. I want to see more of him. But I just love the character and the design. That's why it's my number
That's
one.
a cool design, though. He has like the bird head, and then his quirk is like a bird, like dark bird.
I am
The
curious.
darkest of
I am
birds.
curious. Though, like, can he make Dark Shadow into another thing, or is it always a bird? Does it always have to be a bird?
See, I always felt like it was an entity.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So I was like, is it just taking the form of a bird because that's what he is, or is it like, is it just a bird, and that's why he got the head of a bird?
Is he a bird? He's not like bird mask. Like he is legit bird.
I
Just
think,
like how
It's because
Selkie.
we haven't got enough of him.
sea lion, because the only person who's an animal who got quirk that we have seen so far is the principal.
Principal.
Which
He's like
is
a morph
high
of
spec?
different animals.
Yeah, high spec, which is very rare for an animal
Yeah.
to get quirk. So I know Fumikage, sorry, is a human whose quirk gave him the
Appearance of.
appearance of a bird.
Imagine, imagine that, like little baby bird coming out of you. Unless the mom's like dropping eggs.
Well, no.
That's so
He came out human. Their quirk does not develop until age 4,
Oh my god, just transforming into a bird?
because that's what
Imagine
happened.
your lips
Because
becoming a beak.
Because I think
yeah.
one of us had the conversation with the Invisible Girl.
Okay.
It's like, did the Invisible Girl just come out and like?
It's like, here's your baby.
Oh.
Nothing came out, but something came out. I felt that.
So yeah, they definitely came out human.
Yeah.
Until they were about age 4 or so, and
When
then
their quirks
quirked.
Oh, I wonder what he actually looks like.
I want that to be a mystery.
I
Ooh,
don't.
if he
I
takes
wanna
off
see
his
it.
bird head.
Yeah. Or what was
Ooh.
it like before? Like if we get like a backstory if he was young.
I bet you, with the way that the show is, I bet you if he takes off the bird thing, it's just another bird face.
Just a small one.
I don't think.
That's a small, there's like a canary underneath.
I don't think he's gonna take the head off. I think that head is his head.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I have been informed by people on the internet,
Yeah.
Twitter. Thank you whoever told me this because it made me so much happy. Season 3 will get a lot more Tokiyami.
I'm excited for the new character.
I have recently heard that there will be new characters. Seconds ago. So, what do we know about any of the new characters?
I don't know nothing.
So you know something.
No, I don't. I only know the new characters.
I know there's gonna be like a squad of like these 4 people. There's like 3 girls and one's like a guy and they're like kind of like a feline thing.
Whoa.
Those are villains,
Okay.
I believe.
I don't know.
Talk about femme fatale.
I know of
But
some of the new
Are you
villains
sure?
coming in.
I thought they were heroes.
I'm pretty sure those
We'll
are the
see.
same people who are
What
brought
if
in.
they're spies? What if they pretend to be heroes,
they might
but
be
they're
villains.
actual
Because I do
villains?
know we're going to get some people who were coming that came about because of Hero Killer and his
Yeah, we get a lot
philosophy.
of those.
Right.
A lot of people are going to be like coming up from that.
Mhm.
We're
We
getting
saw a few of them at the end of that episode. We
Yeah.
saw like the girl with
This girl
blonde hair.
Toga.
Yeah.
I am excited for her.
And then we saw like a dude who's like really big. And then there was a third one.
So I know that we're going to get a more detailed version, or more detailed about the leader of.
What's his name? The itchy neck dude. He has like hands all over him. You know,
I don't
he
know
can
his name.
decay. That's his power. Or his
Um,
quirk is decay, I think, where he touches things and then they just fall apart.
He's ugly.
I think he's misunderstood.
I think this is my theory. A reason why he has that peeling skin and everything is he.
Eczema.
No, I think
You got eczema. Eczema. What?
his name is Tomura Shigaraki. And my theory of the skin is, I think, because his ability, it only decays when all 5 fingers touch it.
Okay.
I think that at some point he accidentally touched it
Himself?
himself. Yeah. And the leader of the League of Villains, spoiler alert for anyone who's not caught up to episode 36.
That's pretty much like this whole podcast.
Yeah, we've been spoiling
Yeah.
this whole. We're talking about final exams.
This is true. This is
We're
true.
talking about-
You're just now saying spoiler alert.
Meant to say at the beginning. I apologize to all the listeners.
If
The
you
leader-
have been spoiled, we apologize.
I will take the angry tweets at Joker of Nothing. The leader of the League of Villains, All for One, I think was able to counteract the full-on decay of it.
Right.
because All For One is able to take quirks from some other people and use those quirks, but he can also exchange or move those quirks onto someone else.
Mhm.
So I think All For One was able to stop the decay from furthering
with a different quirk.
with another like healing quirk or something, but it wasn't able to stop the damage that already happened.
And this is all skeptic.
Yeah,
Right?
this is
is
all
not
theory.
canon.
This is all theory
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, I just want to clarify.
But it's also been said the hand on his face,
Mhm.
he calls father.
Spoopy.
Daddy.
What if his daddy's hands
Yeah.
are just all over him?
And I have also heard some other theories
Yeah.
involving him where pretty much
Dad just made out of Legos.
no,
And that's why
his
his
grandmother gave up his father. Like it's like she didn't want him because I think his grandmother was Nana, the 7th user of All For One or One For All.
One fall, yeah.
And she gave up the father of DK Shigaraki, and the father had Shigaraki, and All For One comes and finds him, takes him in, and that's why he has the resentment and hate towards All Might, because All Might took what was meant to be his father, like part of his family's lineage,
Right.
because we see in the flashback with All For One.
Yeah,
That-
when All Might tried to explain it to
that he had a
Midoriya.
brother.
Yeah.
And if it kind of the brother kind of looks like Shigaraki,
Yeah, he's small, he's lanky, he's blue.
so we get that little thing where it's pretty much they think that Shigaraki is connected to that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much why he's out to kill All Might
Mm-hmm.
for taking a power that was meant to be his. And I think once he finds out Meteoria has One For All, there's going to be a bigger issue.
Yeah, because I feel that if he absolutely knows, like, this kid, it's definitely this kid.
Yeah.
He might be like the new target to draw out All Might. The whole thing was just like, I could kill you, or I could just use you as bait. Itchy neck.
And
I got eczema.
some other things I've heard or came across was a lot of people think Bakudo will be the number one hero
Number
for a
one,
while, and then Meteoria, because when One For All is passed down to a new user,
Yeah.
it gets stronger.
Right.
So they think Bakudo will become the number one hero for a little bit,
Mhm.
and then once Meteoria Deku is able to master One For All, he's going to take the number one spot.
Can we just talk for a second about super buff Deku for a second?
Maybe he won't go super buff.
Oh.
Like, just imagine that, like, in your heads for like a good 2 seconds. Just think about it. Maybe buff Midoriya,
Like
glows like another 2 inches,
an All Might buff,
and
or
he's super strong.
like an All Might buff, or just like buffer than what he is right now.
From what I can imagine, just buffer.
Okay, I can take it.
I could take that too.
Now, if
When we first see Midoriya, he is kind of like average, and then he works out,
Mhm.
and then he's just like cut. He's not like beefy, but he's cut because when he wears his clothes, he looks normal.
but I also think that because All Might was able to be All For One twice,
Right.
and no other One For All user was able to do it.
Mhm.
So I think Deku will be the one to fight All Might after, we get the final climax, or I don't say final climax, but some point in time, All For One comes and is like, you have One For All, I want it back.
Yeah.
And Deku fights him, and I'm sure All For One is going to underestimate Deku,
Because he's gonna be a kid still,
and
and he's not gonna be a super buff kid.
and Deku is going to lay him out
See, another thing is
by Detroit smashing him.
yeah, Detroit. I love how all of the moves have the names. He's
That
like,
are from the U.S.
he's like, I think All Might was inspired by America. He wears red, white, and blue.
What he's from?
He
America?
has stars,
Uh-huh.
and he's white with blonde hair,
What he's from? What he's from?
and he has
America?
sunken blue eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said like he was like inspired by like.
Oh, I mean, like
He's like, I really like that United States of America over there.
Yeah.
Detroit Smash, Texas like Chop,
Mhm.
whatever his Texas move was.
Texas pork chop.
Texas.
5% Republican vote.
So it's some of the theories I've came across.
So, like, out of the teachers, there's some really cool teachers. We've seen a lot of them in the final exams. Do you guys have a teacher that you think is really cool? Just one.
I'm gonna go with Aizawa. He's the guy who he's the teacher who teaches them.
Eraser.
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
His battle with Todoroki and Yarurozu, I thought was just great, and we actually saw like we see him battle in the rescue arc,
Yeah, with the USJ.
and we see why he goes up against one on Minnie instead of just like a team against Minnie.
Yeah.
Because his power, it's anyone within his line of sight loses their quirk power. So like, if a team member gets caught,
He doesn't want a team member to lose their
so
quirk.
he goes one on Minnie. We see he has the ability to fight well without using quirks.
Mhm.
But in the Todoroki and Yarurozu battle, we see his cunning. We see the fact that he is toying with his opponents.
Yeah.
And we see, I want to know more about his little bandage thing and how he's able to use those.
Actually, I feel like there's one part you're missing out of your three things you just mentioned. I feel like the part that you're missing is that he wants his students to grow.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, he is a teacher.
I let that off for a reason. Like, because
In his own way, of course.
he's the teacher. He obviously wants his students to grow.
Yeah.
So we're leaving out the obvious. I want to touch on the more like important things I liked about his characters that we've learned later on.
Well, there are other teachers that absolutely do not want their students to grow. I'm looking at you, Umbridge from Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, but that's not in this universe.
No, I'm just saying that
All the teachers
just because someone is a teacher doesn't mean that they want them to grow.
in this universe, though, all the teachers there,
Yeah, but
want their
we didn't establish that.
We're
from the
talking about
get-go.
this universe, no other universe.
I'm just saying. We didn't establish it.
We
should've
are
said
talking
that
about My
the
Hero
teachers-
Academia.
The teachers want what's best for the students. We didn't mention that.
Are we talking about other universes now?
I don't know. Are we, Brian?
No, I'm just saying we didn't mention it. So
Yeah,
we
but-
shouldn't assume.
But we're talking about
Tanya's
My.
like the Flash.
I want to see Tenya run so fast that he runs into another timeline and messes everything up.
Into that universe.
Dang it, Tenya! Why do I have Deku's powers now? Bakudo, don't be so mean.
When Tenya comes back, Deku never got his quirk.
I'm gonna. Oh, what?
Well, my favorite teacher is 13.
13's cool.
Like a vacuum. She helps people.
Yeah, she's like the natural disaster one, right?
Have we
Yeah.
established it's a
Yeah.
she?
Oh yeah, it doesn't have a gender.
Yeah.
Because
13 is
Isn't
13.
there's a person in there, right?
there is a person, but we just don't know
We
the
just
gender.
don't know, so we call it it. Or
Yeah.
are they like on the Wikipedia page? They call it they. So like they.
Let's not assume their gender.
Yeah. It's
But
2017.
13's
guys.
still really cool. Yeah.
I was up 13 because 13 is his battle with belly button dude, or I refuse to call by name.
Aoyama?
I refuse to call him by name.
Why?
I do not like that guy.
What's wrong with him?
I don't like him.
That guy's cool. He
His,
gets little tummy
his,
aches
his,
though.
his character type in all the animes I watch, when his character type pops up, just
Which
makes
is
me
what?
mad.
What is his character type?
Just that, like
Like
that,
the feminine
his
ones?
face, his face. His,
How do you even characterize that face as a
when I say
character
character,
type?
when I say character type, I really meant like when they had that design of his face, the character design. Sorry,
Mhm.
character design. It annoys me.
I feel like he's there for like fan service,
Hey,
kind
He
of.
might be. I refuse to call him by name though. Like I refuse to call grape juice by his name because I
Oh,
refuse.
Mineta?
grape juice. He's
It's
just like-
definitely Mineta.
Yeah.
See, here's how I always remember Mineta's name. Because grape juice has juice in it, and Minute Maid makes juice. So I think of Mineta. Mineta juice.
I didn't think about that.
That's
Yeah,
a great
Minute Maid,
one.
Mineta
That's
juice. So that's how I think of him. I always think of Minute Maid.
Oh,
And then I just go down to Mineta. 'cause
that's
that's his name.
that's a clever thing.
And then for the laser beam guy. For the longest time I thought it was the Ayo Ma. That's what I thought his name was for like the longest time, but it's not. It's not. That's not what his name is.
But 13's battle with Ochako and the belly button dude.
Yeah.
We don't get much of that battle. We get him using his little black hole ability, and then Ochako like letting herself, quote unquote, because she had just let go on embarrassment.
Yeah.
Go after, and then she actually was able to get the upper hand on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like how if any part of his suit is damaged and like slashed, it causes a black hole incident that could destroy the town or more.
Her whole
It's
they
they
13's backside was completely ripped up when
The League of Villains
and then she had like her own suction power.
reverse.
Its own suction power. I hate pronouns. 13's own suction power hit 13's back, and 13's power was hitting 13's back through the portal that was hit by 13. So then 13's back was completely ripped up, and how did they stop the...
I don't
know.
But I remember they talked about it.
Yeah, they definitely did something to fix it. I just don't know what they did.
Well, maybe 13 was able to stop 13's power by just, like, using another power that 13 has that hasn't been mentioned by 13 yet.
Maybe, but I could also see...
I'm trying to say 13 as many times.
I could also see Momo...
New drinking game.
Every time Brian says 13, please take a shot.
Prepare to die. 13, 13, 13, 13, 13.
Every time, I think Yaruzu could also done something to help it.
True, I'll cover it up.
So,
yeah.
Brian, favorite teacher?
Actually, my favorite teacher is one of the intern teachers. And it's Gunhead.
Gunhead. I knew you were going to say that.
Oh.
He's a soft egg.
Actually, the reason why Ochako has the hand-to-hand combat she does.
Yeah. Because I like the teachers that you can clearly see they've impacted their students. Eraserhead is a good example. But I also like Gunmetal for that exact reason. And also, he's just a cute boy.
I'm going to throw an honorable mention to Gran Torino.
He's cool. Yeah.
Mainly because he's the type of teacher that he's not like going to be like, tell you how to grow. He's going to Mr. Miyagi you and have you do stuff where you don't think you're growing, but in reality you are. And he's also not afraid to kick his student in the face.
I think that's why they also mentioned that like All Might was trained differently than Midoriya, because like All Might already had like a pretty good body for the One for All.
Yeah.
So then Gran Torino pretty much like beat him up so that he could get tougher.
But I mean, Gran Torino also did like kick and like hit Deku.
Oh yeah.
On multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Like it's like he wasn't holding back because he knew if he held back, it was going to hinder him to grow with One for All.
Yeah.
So, any other last remarks for My Hero Academia Class 1A students or teachers?
I got some last words. If you haven't seen My Hero Academia, why are you listening to this? We've spoiled so much of it. But if you haven't and you're confused about what we've been talking about, I highly recommend watching it from the beginning. It's a great watch. It's not very long. It's only...
The dubbed is, I think, episode 13. They only have one season dubbed as right now out, I believe. And then in the sub, Japanese sub, we have English subbed. They're on episode 37 as of September 23rd. Today.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 37. It's easy. It's like 22 30-minute or 22 or 30-minute episodes.
Not like 21, 22, yeah.
It's a very easy binge. I did it within a week with my work schedule.
Same. And I work 9 to 5, so.
So it was definitely an easy binge. And if you like an underdog story,
this
is
totally
a show for you.
This is totally an underdog story, and not just for Midoriya. Some of the other classmates are underdogs.
My number five pick, I would say, is an underdog because she doesn't have confidence in herself.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I got into it, because my friends know I'm an underdog story fan. So.
But also, like all the characters are just so like likable, all of them. Class 1A. I even like Class like 1B. I know you hate them and you're whatever. You don't
I
talk
never
about that.
said
I love the guy from Class B who's Tetsu, because he has the same power as Kirishima.
yes.
Yeah.
I never said I hate 1B because I do like the
I know.
mind control guy.
Oh my
I like
gosh.
Meg.
Because
Guzma from Pokemon?
when you look at him, you think
It's
that
your boy
guy's
Guzma.
that guy's gonna be a villain. He has the look of a villain.
Mhm.
He has a power of a villain.
Yeah.
But all he wants is to be a hero, and everyone understands him.
Yeah.
And I think his battle with Meteoria was great.
It also shows that All for One, like a new kind of aspect of
Yeah.
All for One in that fight.
So yeah, it definitely brought a new thing that I don't even think All Might knew about.
Well, maybe he knew about it, but he said that he doesn't see them anymore. He doesn't see them as often. So,
I need to go back and rewatch this series.
well, I've also watched it recently,
This is true.
so it's more fresh in my mind.
Yeah, and I do like Class 1B. Maybe that'll be another topic of another podcast.
I want to see the other classes in
Yeah.
future seasons, besides just like Class 1A. I
And
want
when-
to see the other classes have some kind of way to integrate themselves back into the story,
I don't think we
besides
will.
just the sports festival.
I'd be fine if we had like one episode of one like Class B. I mean,
Because even in the internships,
yeah.
I don't think we are going to get the 1B, like anyone outside of 1A, because 1A is the people gunning to be heroes in like a battle scenario, and they've touched on it like about what the different classes are.
Yeah.
And if we do get another like sports festival type of arc coming up,
Yeah, we'll see.
then I can see more classes coming in.
I'd like to see that.
I would
To see
like
how people have grown.
I would like to see like if they have 1C or 1D or what other kind of classes they have there.
I like how in the sports festival they made the business class just to people who just don't add anything to the sports festival at all. They're just kind of there
To show off
talk
their
about
tech.
to talk about stuff.
Because that was the one girl that was on Deku's team.
But she had a quirk. Her
May.
quirk was zoom. She
Yeah.
could see
They all
really far.
They all have quirks.
Yeah.
They're just more of like creating tech to enhance their quirks.
Yeah, I think her name was like Hatsu.
I have no
It was
idea.
May.
Was it May? Because I have no idea.
Okay,
MEI, right?
and still, I like
May.
how she was like during the sports festival. She's like, "Isn't my stuff amazing?
Yeah.
Look at all my things,
So
my babies."
and I did like how like they kind of separated the teams in the cavalry battles.
Yeah.
So we got like different teams, and I do like how like Deku was trying to get people to work together. Like it's like I need these people, but they're like oh I already got these people.
I mean, that's literally
Yeah.
a dude that can take other people's quirks momentarily.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's not scary at all.
So yeah, I definitely enjoyed a lot, and there will be more episodes of this podcast with My Hero Academia as a topic and different aspects. Thank you for listening.